It's a cult. That's really the only way you can describe it. It mostly consists of two groups of people. That's essentially what just happened with Nikki Haley, and the person who seems to have lost it the most is Donald Trump. There are some people who have completely lost it, the kind of people we see in the House of Representatives. Then there are others who are basically afraid to speak up. George Conway just called J.D. Vance a Yale graduate who talks like he's smart but says absolutely nothing. Ouch. That's like saying someone owns a Ferrari but doesn't know how to drive it, just sits in the garage making engine noises with their mouth. In this video, we're breaking down Conway's harsh critique of both Vance and Trump, which has angered many in the MAGA world. If you've ever wondered why Vance's elaborate speeches leave you feeling empty, Conway just explained why, and Trump's reaction shows it struck a nerve. Before we continue, I'd like to ask a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it makes a big difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you. Now back to the video. Have you ever listened to someone talk for 10 minutes and thought, what did they even say? Vance often says things like, generally speaking, not in every case, less government is better than more. Because you don't want too powerful a government, you might not like the next one. He talks about the disease of liberalism in the 1960s and 1970s, and now claims it's a kind of terrible development on the right. He argues that to determine whether a specific gun regulation is constitutional under the Second Amendment, we must look at statutes passed in Maryland in 1645. George Conway put a name to that hollow feeling. The J.D. Vance experience. Conway didn't just criticize Vance. He took him apart with the skill of someone who knows what he's talking about. As a fellow Yale law graduate, Conway is especially good at noticing when someone is using their education to appear insightful without actually saying anything. According to him, Vance is the definition of empty rhetoric, someone who has mastered the art of sounding deep while saying nothing of value. It's like Vance learned all the complex words but forgot to include any real ideas. Vance has described the current administration as profoundly evil in ways Americans supposedly can't comprehend. Now the problem is, he's back. Even if Americans realize what's happening and they're starting to, Conway points out we've reached a stage of illegality, immorality, and depravity in the federal government no one could have imagined. Conway nailed it when he said, Vance speaks in sound bites that sound smarter than they are. We've all met someone like that at a party, someone who uses big words to mask the fact that they have nothing interesting to say. But in this case, the person doing it could be one step away from the presidency. What's most striking about Conway's critique isn't just that Vance sounds empty, it's that he's doing it on purpose. It's not that he's unable to form real thoughts or take actual positions, it's that he's deliberately avoiding them. Conway suggests Vance is trying to sound profound while hoping no one notices he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not just embarrassing, it's calculated political theater. What makes this even more concerning is Vance's claim to represent the working class. Conway called this out, pointing out that Vance has spent most of his life in elite circles while pretending to relate to ordinary people. It's like watching a billionaire wear a hard hat for a photo op, then immediately sanitize his hands as soon as the cameras are off. Vance graduated from one of the top law schools in the country. He should be capable of thoughtful analysis and meaningful policy ideas. Instead, Conway suggests all he took from Yale law was a way to sound abstract, a way to impress people without saying anything meaningful. That might work at high-end social events, but it's disturbing in someone who could be second in command of the country. He's the one who's acting irrationally, and others are becoming even more extreme. As Nikki Haley noted when she was being honest for a few weeks in the spring, if it's 74 or 75 degrees, he's saying it's freezing. This ties into the ongoing false claims about the election. He's mentally unstable and getting worse, and we can see it every day in the courthouse. We can see it when he's standing out there complaining about the temperature, even when thermometers in the courtroom show otherwise. Conway's takedown is especially brutal because it suggests this emptiness isn't accidental, it's Vance's entire political strategy. He's not just saying nothing by accident. He's deliberately avoiding substance because actually taking positions might cost him votes. It's cynical politics at its worst, a calculated bet that voters will be seduced by the sound of intelligence rather than demanding actual intelligence. When you really think about it, there's something deeply insulting about Vance's approach. It assumes voters are too stupid to notice they're being served an empty intellectual sandwich, all bread and no meat. Conway's critique suggests Vance knows exactly what he's doing, which makes it even worse. He has the capacity for substance but chooses emptiness because it's politically convenient. What's particularly damning about Conway's assessment is that he sees Vance as a political actor prioritizing performance over substance. In other words, Vance isn't just occasionally putting on a show. His entire political persona is a performance. There's no real J.D. Vance behind the curtain, just a carefully constructed character designed to advance his career rather than actually represent his constituents. The truly chilling part of Conway's critique is what it means for American politics more broadly. If someone can rise this far by merely sounding smart without actually being substantive, what does that say about our political system? It suggests we've entered an era where the appearance of competence matters more than actual competence, where sounding like you know what you're talking about is more important than actually knowing. But as bad as style over substance politics might be, Conway saves his most devastating psychological analysis for the man at the top of the ticket. According to Conway, Trump isn't just a politician who occasionally lies, he's a matryoshka doll of lies, whose entire existence operates like those Russian nesting dolls, with each deception concealing another even bigger one underneath. I believe that even if things turn around publicly, I don't think they're going to turn around publicly fast enough to prevent some of the bad things that I think are going to happen. What an administration did in a whole bunch of agencies was fire en masse the probationary employees. I don't remember exactly how long you're a probationary employee when you're hired, and it has to be individualized. They did not do that, because they just fired everybody en masse. They pretended, oh yes, we made a determination, but think about that image for a second. We've all seen those colorful wooden dolls that open up to reveal smaller and smaller versions inside. Conway's metaphor paints Trump as a walking, talking set of nested falsehoods, except there's no solid figure at the center, just lies all the way down. And Conway doesn't stop there. He explains that Trump will lie, then lie about lying, then lie about lying about lying, and then lie about lying about lying about lying. It's like watching someone build a skyscraper of falsehoods, where each new floor somehow defies the laws of reality even more than the last one. You almost have to admire the architectural achievement, if it weren't so dangerous for democracy. What makes Conway's critique so powerful is that he's not just calling Trump dishonest, plenty of politicians bend the truth. Conway is suggesting something far more unsettling, that Trump's entire existence is built on layer upon layer of fabrication. It's not about occasional fibs or strategic exaggerations. It's about a comprehensive alternate reality where truth has no meaning whatsoever. The scary part? Conway believes Trump's dishonesty isn't even calculated anymore. Most politicians lie strategically. They know they're doing it and have a reason. But according to Conway, Trump has told so many lies for so long that he's lost the ability to distinguish between what's real and what's not. The lies have become his reality. Imagine living in a mental world where whatever pops into your head instantly becomes truth. That's the Trump that Conway describes. Conway doesn't hold back on the psychological assessment either, flat out calling Trump a narcissistic sociopath. That's not just name-calling. It's suggesting that Trump's behavior stems from serious personality disorders, a narcissist who thinks he's always right, combined with a sociopath who doesn't care who gets hurt. It's like the worst possible combo meal of psychological problems for someone with power. Unlike most politicians who at least try to think things through, Conway says Trump operates purely on emotional reactions. Something makes him angry? Attacks someone. Compliments him? They're a genius. Criticizes him? They're the enemy. It's less like a coherent worldview and more like watching a toddler's mood swings, except this toddler has nuclear codes. This psychological pattern, according to Conway, makes Trump completely resistant to growth or change. Donald Trump, it's just ingrained in him.